All right, let's get ready here for finals by reviewing Chapter 3. In Chapter 3, we learned how to solve for a variable. Okay, a variable is a letter. So that means we're going to be getting a letter alone. We have to get the variable alone. Okay, and how do we do that? We have to move any extra terms to the other side. So you might have heard me say things like, is there anybody here that has to go to the other side of the equation? Okay, and when we did this, remember, when you switch sides, you switch signs. Good. Switch signs. Okay, so positives will become negatives. And then we multiply or divide to get the variable alone. Okay, let's take a look at some examples here. Here we have to solve the equation for the letter y. So we have to get y by itself. So here's the equal sign, and I notice that y is on the left with 2x. So 2x is going to have to get moved to the other side. Y is going to stay on the left. The positive 2x goes to the right and becomes a negative 2x. And there's still that plus 5. Okay? When we studied Chapter 3, we were learning how to get the y alone so that we could graph. This should be a little easier for you now. All right, let's look at example 2. We still have to get the y alone. And I'm noticing that there's two terms here. Okay, so first of all, does any of them have to get moved to the other side? Okay, and the answer is yes. 3x, you have to go to the other side. 4y is positive, so he's going to stay on the left. When the positive 3x switches sides, it's going to switch from a positive to a negative 3x. And then 12 is positive, so let's put plus. Okay, you have to look at the plus and minus signs to know if they're positive or negative. Is y alone yet? Not really. It's being multiplied by 4. So now I'm going to do the opposite and divide all terms by 4. Okay, so now we have y equals negative 3 over 4x. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So way back in Chapter 3, you probably didn't even realize that you were getting ready to graph. The slope of this line is negative 3/4. It's going downhill, and the y-intercept is 3. Okay, number 3 is just a nice small little baby problem here, but the y is not alone. It's being multiplied by a z. So I have to get the y alone. The opposite of multiply would be to divide, and I'm going to divide both sides by a z. And that makes the y alone. Y is x divided by z. Okay, we got one more problem here. It says solve for t. You could solve for any letter that they ask. So they want to get the t alone. And here's the equal sign. So what we're going to do is take the v and move it to the other side. We could also do this a different way. Some of you still like to take the v and say minus v to the left and minus v to the right, and we're all going to get the same answer here. Okay, those are going to cancel out, and t is equal to p minus v. So if you like to subtract from both sides, that's the same as just switching sides and switching signs. Okay, that's one of the things that we learned in Chapter 3. Another thing that we studied were ratios. A ratio is just a fancy way of saying a fraction. Okay, so a ratio is a fraction. We always write the answer, the fraction, in reduced form. Reduced form. And reduced means simplified. And we have calculators that we've been doing this with a lot lately, simplifying our slopes. We're going to draw a diagram to help organize the information. Okay, so here's an example. Your team won 5 out of 11 games. Okay, so the diagram looks something like this. I played a lot of games. I won some of the games, and I lost some of the games. Okay, but all together, how many games did I play? I played 11 games. So 11 games is the total. We won 5 of them. How many did we lose? 11 minus 5. We lost 6 of them. Don't worry, we're going to try to get better. Okay. After you draw the diagram and figure out all the numbers, it's time to write the ratio. So now we have to do the fraction. And they'll tell you right here what kind of fraction to make. And I'm going to write this down. They want to find the ratio of wins to losses. Okay, does it matter which number goes on top and which one on the bottom? Absolutely. So whatever they tell you here, since they said wins first, wins is going to go in the numerator. Okay, how many did we win? We won 5. And how many did we lose? We lost 6. So the answer is 5 out of 6. What's tricky about these is I don't see the number 6 in the word problem anywhere. We had to figure out 6 by ourselves. All right, let's take a look at another example here. We're going to make a diagram to organize the information. Okay? And there's 2 things happening. What are they? There's 10 girls in a class of 22 students. Okay, so the 2 things must be girls and boys. Okay? And it says that there's 22. So where does 22 go? That goes here, the whole thing. The whole class is 22 students. They did tell us that there were 10 girls. So how many boys must be in the class? 12, because 10 plus 12 makes 22. Okay, once you get your diagram all set, it's time to do the ratio. Okay, ratio, and you have to read the directions here. They want boys to girls. Okay, how do I know who goes on top? Whatever word they said first goes on top, boys to girls. The boys is 12 and the girls is 10. Okay, but we do have to reduce this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use our calculator here. And we have that fraction button. 12 over 10 reduces down to, look at that, 6/5. Okay, so let's just put a little star here to remind everybody you always need to reduce. Okay, in all your math classes, you're always going to have to reduce. All right, what else did we study in Chapter 3? We also did rates, and rates are just like ratios. Okay, it's a ratio with 2 units. 2 units. Make sure your answer has 2 words. Okay, 2 words. And of course, always reduce. Reduce your fraction. Okay, so it's kind of just like ratios. And you guys did a really good job when we studied this. Okay, find the unit rate. It says we earn $20 for working 5 hours. So don't forget to write the dollars and the hours. And then what we do is we take 20 divided by 5 and we get 4. But don't forget to write 2 words, dollars per hour. There's your rate. There's your rate. A lot of people want to know what the rate is when they get a job. Okay. How about the next one? 245 miles in 35 hours. So the words in this case are miles per hour, and we have to divide. Okay, you have to divide or use your fraction button. In this case, it came out exactly to 7, so the answer is 7 miles per hour. Okay. Something else that we studied in this chapter was percent. And per means to divide. Per means to divide, and cent means 100. So percent means out of 100. Okay, so we're going to change these to a decimal. Here's a percent. When it says 47%, that means 47 per or out of or divide by 100. And 47 divided by 100 is 0.47. Okay, some people know how to do this just in their mind, moving the decimal. Okay, so how did we do this here? Let's just give you directions. You divide by 100. All right, how do you change to a percent? We're not going to do the same thing here. We're not going to divide by 100, but what we're going to do is multiply by 100. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We're going to take 0.09. We're going to multiply by 100. 0.09 times 100 is 9%. Okay, when it says make a percent, don't forget to write that percent sign. Let's write that down. Don't forget the percent sign. There you go. Okay, and what do we have next? After we learned percents, we did solve equations, okay, by translating. So take a look. Percent means out of 100. Is means equal sign. And when it says of means multiply. Okay, so let's read this and we're going to translate and then we can solve. Always look for the word is. Look for the word is. 12 is. Is means equals. It says 2%. Percent means out of 100. Okay, so I'm going to write 2 out of 100. Of means multiply. And it says what number? I don't know the number. Let's use the letter X. Okay, so first you just translate word for word, and now it's time to solve. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is divide these two numbers here. So write 12 equals, and we're going to take 2 divided by 100, and that's 0.02. So we have 0.02x. How are we going to solve for x when it's being multiplied by 0.02? We have to divide both sides by 0.02. Okay, and x equals 12 divided by 0.02, 600. X is 600. Okay, next one. Let's go word for word. We're going to translate it. It says 6 is, when it says what percent, I don't know the percent. So I'm going to say X percent out of 100. Of means to multiply, so I'm going to multiply by 8. Okay, this is the one that usually caused us a little bit of trouble because I'm used to taking the two numbers and dividing them, but here I can't divide X and 100. So what are the two numbers I'm going to divide? I'm going to divide 8 because 8's in the numerator. 8 is going to get divided by 100. So 6 equals 8 divided by 100 is 0.08, and then you write the x. So it's just like number 11 where you divided the two numbers to get the decimal. We're going to do that, but it might be off a little bit. I'm going to put a star here because this is the one that people didn't quite know how to do. Now we're not done. We have to divide both sides by 0.08. And if you take 6 divided by 0.08, we get 75. So x equals 75. So the question said 6 is what percent? Oh, it said what percent? And the answer is 75%. Don't forget the percent sign. Okay, the last one, this is the easiest one there is. When it says what, and I don't know what, I use the letter X. How do you say is? Yeah, equal sign. When it says 30%, that means 30 out of 100. When it says of, it means times 50. This is just straight all type it in your calculator. Some people like to do all three at once. Some people did 30 divided by 100 and made 0.3. And then they type 0.3 times 50. However you want to type it in, it's all just calculator and you get 15. Okay, so this was translating a sentence into a math problem and then solving. Okay, you are going to see some of those on the final, so make sure you practice them. All right, what's the next one? The end of chapter 3 was where we used our percent skills to go ahead and do some sales. We did some sales where things were taking percent off. So we have to draw a diagram to represent the total amount. Okay, this is like a sale. We're going to show the part off and then the part left to pay. And then we're going to calculate how much do I pay. Okay, what did that look like? All right, so a shirt is normally $42. It's on sale for 25% off. So let's draw a box. And I'm going to say that the shirt is usually $42. But I'm going to get a sale. I'm going to pay less. So you're going to go ahead and chop this in half. They are going to take 25% off. And then what's left? If you take 100% and subtract 25, you get 75%. So there's 75% left, and that's what I'm going to pay. I'm not going to pay all of it. Okay? They're going to take 25% off, and I'm going to pay what's left. All right, so this is what I want to figure out. Find the sale price. Here's the sale price right there. X equals, I'm going to pay 75%. How do you write percent? Out of 100. 75% of the shirt. And the shirt is usually $42. So we're going to have to figure out here 75 out of 100 times that by 42. All right, I'm getting an answer of $31.50. Wait, does that make sense? The shirt's usually $42 and it's on sale. Does that sound good now for the price? Yeah, I like that. If you get an answer like $80, wait, that's not right. If the shirt's on sale, it should be cheaper than $42. Okay? With percents, we also did it the other way, where the price went up. Okay, for example, adding on a tip, or maybe there's like a service charge or a service fee, something like that. Okay, so there might be something where you have to pay a little extra. So you have to draw a diagram for the bill plus a tip, and then you have to calculate the total that you're going to pay, and it's more than 100. Okay, because you're going to add on a nice tip for the worker. All right, so the bill was $86. So this is how it looks. Take the bill, and the bill for the restaurant was $86. Okay, that's 100% of the bill. Okay, if you also want to leave a 20% tip, okay, so you're going to pay all this money, plus you're going to add on some more. You're going to add on a tip. And it says the tip is 20%. Okay, find the total amount. So are you going to pay for the bill? Yes. And you're going to pay the tip. So how much do you pay? Do you pay 100% or 20%? You pay all of that. You're going to pay 120%. Okay? So when you add on a tip, the bill goes higher. So let's say total. The total amount you're going to pay is 120 out of 100 times by 86. All right, let's see what that is. Oops. 120 divided by 100 times by 86. Wow. Is it really supposed to be $103.20? Why did the bill go up? Instead of paying 86, I'm going to pay a little extra because I'm going to leave the tip. Okay? I really need you guys to work hard on the next couple of pages and practice some Chapter 3 problems. Okay, good luck.